And welcome back. It's time once again for our Ozarks Live Book Club. And Morgan Shannon is here from the Springfield's Greene County Library. Always good to see you. How are things?
Nice to see you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, I'm always interested to see what books you guys bring me because it's always something new and it's always something exciting. So first up is called The Great Alone. What do I need to know about this one?
Yeah, so this book, The Great Alone, it's by Kristen Hanna.
Okay.
It's set in the 1970s. It's about the Albright family. The dad in the family, he's a former prisoner of war. And when he gets back from Vietnam, he's changed, somewhat volatile. He loses another job and decides he wants to move his family from Seattle to Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah, and live off of the grid. The 13-year-old daughter, Lenni, she's kind of stuck in between the stormy relationship of her parents. And she hopes that this move is going to be a fresh start. And it starts out like that. They're kind of thriving in this independent community. With the long and lit days, the locals are generous in helping them get accustomed to where they're now living. But as winter starts to come and darkness descends, you see her father's paranoia pick back up. He starts to be really controlling over her and her mother, who they can see, where they can go. It becomes really tense. And it all just kind of progresses. The story progresses, his paranoia progresses as the story continues, and it kind of comes to a head.
Yeah, this is interesting because there's so many different themes I'm picking up from this. One, you've got like, I'm assuming what is like military PTSD that we know a lot of people struggle with, but also the winter piece is interesting because we know winter is a really hard time for a lot of people, especially with mental health. So for anyone that has maybe dealt with that, is dealing with that, has experience with that, whatever that looks like, what do you think those kinds of readers are going to experience while reading this book?
I think it is potentially going to be difficult because of some of the topics that are talked about, but I think that Kristen Hanna manages to write this story and these characters in such a beautiful way that you're so enthralled by what's going on. You want to know what happens to the characters, and so you just keep reading.
Yeah. Even though there's like some darkness kind of around the like premise and plot of this novel, is there anything that's maybe like positive or uplifting that you took away after reading it?
There's really sweet relationships with the locals in the community. The way that they reach out to Lenni and her mother specifically to aid them through what they kind of see going on is so sweet. And just the way that you see them care about these people that have just moved into their lives and they have no reason to care about them the way that they do. And it's really cool.
This sounds like a really cool read.
Yeah,
I think people should definitely check this out, add this to their list. Next up is The 100 Years of Lenni and Margot. So tell me about this one.
So this one's by Marianne Cronin. It's about a 17-year-old girl named Lenni who lives in the terminal ward of a hospital. She's been told she doesn't have much longer to live, but that doesn't really stop her from living her life and doing what she wants to do.
Really light topics today.
Yeah, I know, I've really brought it. But she joins the Arts and Crafts Club and she meets an 83-year-old Margot. I promise it gets a little bit happier. The two of them, they become friends. They make this quirky, unlikely pair. And they're so sweet together, the way that they talk to each other, they share stories, and they realize that between the two of them, they've lived for 100 years. And so this realization sparks this idea to create pictures, paint pictures that depict the stories of their lives. They get some hospital workers to join in, and it's really sweet the way that the story unfolds.
I love that. Is there anything, because you know we talk a lot about in society about like respecting elders and like not like dehumanizing older people type thing. Is there anything specifically that you think people will take away in that vein with this book? Yeah,
well, you see, I mean, Lenni is 17, Margot is 83, and nothing about them would indicate that they would be friends. Like if they were in this situation, they'd be friends, and it's really sweet. Despite Margot's age and Lenni's age even, and the circumstance that they're in, they don't care about that. They just see each other as people that they kind of create these relationships with in a really sweet way.
I feel like this is something a lot of people would enjoy. Last up is Everything We Didn't Say.
Yes. So this is a thriller, so not much of a light one either, but it follows 19-year-old Juniper. One summer evening, her world kind of shifts and changes when her neighbors are murdered and she realizes that her younger brother is the prime suspect. So she leaves town, vows never to return. She comes back years later to help a friend to repair her crumbling relationship with her daughter and to finally get to the bottom of what happened. It wasn't ever solved. A local true crime podcaster starts digging around, trying to figure out what happened, and Juniper becomes even more determined and motivated to find out, because this time it's her teenage daughter's life that's kind of hanging in the balance of everything that's happening.
Kind of feels like a modernized nice murder mystery, if you will.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that. Well, Morgan, we're just about out of time, but if people want more information with everything happening with the Springfield Greene County Library, how can they get it?
Thelibrary.org.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here. Really awesome recommendations. Go check them out, the library.